Thank you, Bob, and thank you to In Defense of Christians for pulling this event together. I feel that my co-panelists have already shed important light on how Western media coverage and human rights can cover human rights issues and religious issues, and it needs to be done, as His Grace had said, with sensitivity rather than sensationalism. And the perspective that I'd like to bring today is out of experience with working on the ground in the Middle East in humanitarian work, development work, and education. And my goal is, for providing that perspective, is to help our friends in the media understand how together we can do more to build a peaceful and a prosperous region there in the Middle East. As my colleagues have touched on, minority religious groups are an important part of the Middle East and its social fabric. So to take Christians as an example, we are continuing the work of Christ of healing and educating, and this is done through schools, hospitals, and non-governmental organizations. These institutions actually play a key role in maintaining social harmony. And this is the role that is often underreported in the Western media. I'd like to give you an example coming from Egypt. And there are Christian nuns called the Sisters of Maadi. They serve over 200,000 needy people in Cairo yearly. 90% of them are Muslims. And as you can imagine, this has a huge effect on interfaith relations at the grassroots. This is the very area where often actors have a very difficult time having an impact at the grassroots. Coptic Orphans is one of those non-governmental organizations serving over 10,000 children and their families in their communities. And we work through church volunteers in their own communities. So we're among the people on the ground. And we work in many religiously mixed neighborhoods. So when there's tension, the solution in these neighborhoods are not always as black and white as they might appear to outsiders. So in many cases, it's critically important to us that the media refrain from screaming headlines and reporting that doesn't give the full context of the story. Simply because when reporters don't present the facts of an issue in a sober and straightforward way, it can create the climate of violence. It puts our staff and the people that we serve at risk. This is especially true as the world becomes more interconnected. The internet now makes it harder and harder for us to distinguish between Western media and non-Western media. The most violent images and videos cross the world at light speed. Texts are mistranslated and misquoted. Social platforms now offer torrents of misinformation. In this context, the most important thing the media can do is to help people distinguish between sensationalism and reality. They can do this by reporting on minority faith communities, especially efforts to build bridges with neighbors before a crisis erupts. Every day, there are thousands of great stories to tell about the work of schools and hospitals and aid groups in the Middle East. Telling those stories before the crisis will help people on all sides screen out the sensational and focus on the beneficial. Coptic Orphans' experience on the ground is that the more people learn about their neighbors, the less fearful they are and less prone to extremism. The media can crush that positive tendency with sensationalism or nurture it by covering the good work being done in the communities. After all, what's more beneficial to the people in the Middle East? Sensational reminders of religious differences or sensible reminders of good faith efforts to fight poverty, hunger, and disease? In closing, I would observe that it's tempting to focus the TV cameras on the extremists. Those extremists exist in every community, and they will always be willing to say something outrageous in front of the camera. But the media's role should be to cover people of all faith in every country who are working for better relations with their neighbors. That kind of sensitivity, not sensationalism, will truly benefit all the people in the Middle East. Thank you.